Have you ever heard of Tutu? Maybe not in history books or school lessons, but in small towns and villages across Brazil, whispers about him have been passed down through generations. They say he appears when you least expect it, by deserted roads or along forgotten riverbanks, always silent, watching with eyes that seem to look right into your soul. Some claim to have heard his name whispered by the wind. Others swear they saw a shadow moving among the trees' light, almost ethereal, yet with a weight that presses on your chest. What makes Tutu so terrifying isn't just his appearances, but the stories about those who encounter him. Some disappear without a trace, while others return changed, as if carrying a secret that can never be spoken. No one really knows who he is, where he came from, or what his purpose is, but some say he's a guardian of ancient mysteries, or a spirit that reminds the living of things they would rather forget. Today, we're venturing into this Brazilian legend that haunts hearts and minds. Get ready to uncover what lies behind Tutu, somewhere between myth and reality. Is he just a story to scare children, or is there something darker and more real behind his silent footsteps in the night? Tutu is one of the most enigmatic figures in Brazilian folklore, especially present in rural areas, where stories passed down orally keep alive the memory of old fears and superstitions. Unlike legends like Sagi or the headless mule, Tutu carries a deeper sense of mystery, blending haunting elements with a feeling of constant vigilance. Some scholars believe he reflects indigenous and African traditions that merged over centuries, giving rise to a uniquely Brazilian narrative. According to accounts, the legend of Tutu appears in isolated places, dirt paths, dense forests, rivers, and old bridges. It's in these settings that people claim to sense his presence, often felt only as a shiver down the spine, a whisper in the wind, or a shadow that seems to follow every step. In a way, he embodies the most primal human fears, the unknown, what cannot be controlled or explained. Culturally, Tutu also serves an educational and symbolic role. Stories about him were told to keep children and young people cautious, to respect nature, avoid dangerous places, and learn the boundaries of the world around them. It's fascinating how, even in modern times, when city lights and technology seem to push the supernatural away, the figure of Tutu still sparks curiosity and fear. He remains a symbol of Brazil's darkest folklore, reminding us that some stories endure through time because they carry more than mere entertainment. They carry warning, mystery, and the unsettling sense that something is always watching. The legend of Tutu is as old as the dirt roads and forests that wind through the small towns of Brazil's interior. They say he appears when the night is completely silent, when the wind blends with the whispers of the trees, and the moon barely lights the path. Those who have encountered him describe something impossible to explain clearly, a shadow that seems alive, moving quickly and precisely, yet without making a sound. Some say Tutu has no fully defined forms. Sometimes he appears as a man, other times as a hunched creature, covered in a dark cloak, or even with animal-like features, a mix between human and spectre. According to popular accounts, Tutu usually shows himself to those who venture alone into remote places. He doesn't chase nor attack immediately, but he watches. His gaze, even when not clearly visible, gives the impression that every thought is being read, that no secret is safe. In many cases, Tutu's presence is marked by strange signs: leaves moving without wind, footprints appearing out of nowhere and vanishing just as quickly, or the sound of footsteps following someone walking alone, though no one is there. There are chilling stories of those who have met Tutu. A woman walking alone by a river, said she, saw a figure slowly approaching, its eyes glowing in the darkness. She froze, unable to move, and when she looked again, the figure had vanished. But the sound of footsteps continued behind her until she reached her home. A man recounted hearing his name called in the woods, and when he responded, he realized no one was around. He swore he felt a cold breath on the back of his neck, a shiver that wouldn't fade for hours. Tutu is also described as selective. He appears only to those who, in some way, carry something they need to confront fear, guilt, or a hidden secret. Some believe he is a kind of guardian, a warning for humans to pay attention to the paths they choose in life. Others see him as a darker force, capable of dragging those who disrespect him toward an unknown fate. Every account varies, but they all share the same feeling of mystery and tension. Tutu is not just a shadow. He is fear itself, silent, constant, and impossible to ignore. Yet, as with all powerful legends, some question Tutu's reality. Is he merely a creation of cautious minds, a way to teach respect and prudence? Or is there truly something lurking in Brazil's forests and rivers, watching every step of those who dare to walk alone at night? Amid whispers, stories, and the unknown, Tutu remains an enigma, just as captivating as he is terrifying. The moment the legend of Tutu becomes truly unsettling is when we hear the accounts of those who claim to have encountered him. Some stories send chills down the spine of even the most skeptical. People walking alone on deserted roads feel a presence following every step. Shadows moving without a source of light. Voices whispering names they shouldn't know. One of the most famous involves a young man who, crossing an old bridge on a moonless night, saw a figure standing in the middle of the path. He swore the creature's eyes glowed with a supernatural intensity. Paralyzed with fear, he couldn't scream. When he finally mustered the courage to look again, the bridge was empty, but he felt that something was watching him, even from miles away. Another account tells of an elderly woman who, while collecting water from a river near her home, heard footsteps behind her. She turned slowly and saw only Tutu's shadow, elongated and almost transparent, mirroring her every movement. She felt a piercing cold, as if an invisible hand tried to touch her soul. Days later, she realized some of her oldest memories had shifted, as if Tutu's presence had left an invisible marker, silent warning that certain things should neither be forgotten nor revealed. And then there are those who disappear. Small towns report cases of people last seen in isolated places, always where Tutu's said to appear. No logical explanation was ever found, and many believe these disappearances are the work of his presence, or at least of what the legend personifies. The fear of the unknown, capable of consuming even those who believe themselves safe. These accounts, though varied, share a common thread: constant doubt about what is real and what is myth. Those who have seen Tutu can never fully describe him, and those who hear the stories feel an inevitable chill, sensing that something more is there, something that defies rational explanations. Perhaps Tutu is merely a shadow of the collective imagination, or perhaps a real, silent, watchful presence, reminding us that some mysteries cannot be unraveled by human knowledge. Tutu, like many Brazilian folklore legends, reminds us that some mysteries resist time stories that remain alive not only because of fear, but also because of the fascination they inspire. He makes us reflect on the unknown, on that which we cannot see, touch, or fully comprehend, but somehow feel. Perhaps Tutu is just a shadow of the collective imagination, a warning to respect nature and the paths we walk. Or perhaps he truly exists, waiting silently in the forests and roads, ready to remind each of us that not everything is explainable. And it is precisely this uncertainty that makes Tutu's legend so powerful. Not knowing whether he is real or merely a story passed down through generations keeps us alert, curious, and cautious. Every account, every whisper, every shadow glimpsed from afar reinforces the mystery. And it is this suspense that continues to captivate those seeking adventures and dark stories in the heart of Brazil. If you felt that chill reading about Tutu, imagine encountering him in person. But while we remain safe in our homes, we can explore this legend and let it challenge us to imagine the impossible. If you enjoyed this video and want to continue uncovering the darkest secrets of Brazilian folklore and the supernatural, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Activate the notification bell so you won't miss any mystery still lurking, ready to surprise you in the next story. Remember, the unknown may be closer than we think, and some shadows may be watching.